All right. Well, I'm going to get started to my audience of one. I have a couple other people that said they're,
It looks like
oh,
somebody else just joined.
oh,
So
there's Amanda.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Hey, perfect. Awesome. She's on. There she is. Hi. Okay, I've been chatting with Liz. I was telling her that I'm going to get started. A ton of people registered, but everybody's doing their own thing and going for the replay. So I will get started and you guys can do whatever you need to do. Get on your walking pad. So thank you so much for being here. For everybody that's coming for the replay and that's here. I'm super, super excited just to share all that I've learned and I continue to learn. And my number one goal is to educate because there's so much power in educating you about what's going on with your body and your metabolism. And as we get older, and it's that old antic like teach a man to fish, right? So giving you the power behind what's going on and just so that you feel like you're not stuck, like I did. That's kind of my story is several years ago, I just felt super stuck. I was gaining weight. I was in my 40s. I could not figure out what was going on. I kept blaming my hormones because I just figured, what else? I don't know. I don't know how to lose weight. I was working out like crazy and just could not figure out what was going on. And I just felt really, really stuck. So I did find the solution, and that's what I'm so excited and passionate about is sharing that solution with other women so that you don't have to feel stuck in the same way. So, if you have any questions, please make sure you write them in the chat or write them down so you don't forget them, and I can answer them towards the end. So the first thing I want to go into, uh-oh, hang on. I lost my slides. See, I knew this would happen. Where'd they go? Completely lost my slides. Sorry, guys. It's always something tech that happens. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So, if this is you, if you feel like um, something like this has happened to you before, you're in your 40s, you're gaining weight despite eating less, you're feeling bloated, you're tired, you're stuck in the diet cycle of trying things that don't work, trying the fad diets, all that kind of stuff. And you're just really wanting to feel strong and confident and like you have control, then you are in the right place because that is what we are going to talk about. Give me just a second. I lost my slides. My view went away. Sorry, guys. Thank you. Being patient. All right.
On something,
I'm trying to get them to move and they weren't
just
moving.
click on that right
No,
there.
that
Oh,
makes it bigger.
just do that.
I'm
Okay.
trying.
Okay,
That
ready?
doesn't.
Okay. Oh,
No, my notes went away. Oh, I'm so bad at this stuff. It's not even funny. Did you hit recording again?
it's still recording.
Okay.
It's sharing again. Yeah.
See, it won't go.
Just go like that to the next one. Ready for the next one?
Sure. Go on to the next one.
Okay.
All right. So kind of read through these and just see if there's something that you can relate to. If there's one thing on here that you can relate to. So, are you eating less and gaining weight? Do you feel like your energy has tanked or your clothes just don't fit the same anymore? Maybe you feel like you haven't really gained weight on the scale, but your clothes just don't sit right like they did. Is there a chance that you've started showing any signs of perimenopause? So you're feeling less energy, you're feeling maybe getting some of the night sweats that happen, your hormones are shifting. So, what is happening is these shifts in your body are causing changes in your lifestyle that's causing metabolic adaptation. So I'm going to dive deeper into that in just a bit, but I want you to think of during this whole thing, I want you to think of your metabolism as a dimmer switch. So something like on a light that you can turn up or down for your metabolism. So, a big myth out there is that your metabolism is broken, and that's not true. Your metabolism can't break, it's always going. It's just that sometimes it's revved up and sometimes it's really slowed down. So, metabolic adaptation just means that over the years through your life, as you've aged, as your hormones have shifted, that dimmer switch has started to lower a little bit. So, our goal and my goal tonight is to give you ideas of what can actually make that dimmer switch start to go up so that we rev up your metabolism and we can start seeing weight loss and you can start feeling a lot better. So there's a lot of different reasons why that dimmer switch can start going down. And I will get into that in a little bit. So I'm sure at one point, if you feel like at one point you've tried to lose weight in your life, you've tried one of these things, right? So restricting carbs, keto, intermittent fasting, skipping meals, I have. I've tried I tried the no carbs. I tried at one point I was like the sugar must be affecting my hormones. I will cut out all sugar. So I've definitely tried it all. I want you to think of your metabolism like a machine and it needs something to burn or it starts to slow down. So when you skip those meals, when you try to eat less and less and less, when you're not consuming food or energy, your metabolism just goes, oh, I'm not needed very much right now. So I'm just going to start to slow down. So again, it's not that it's broken, it's just that chronic skipping of meals or lowering your calories or being in diet mode just keeps lowering that switch because your metabolism feels like, oh, I'm not needed. So another thing that can happen with restriction and those when you restrict to those low calories is your protein consumption goes down. And that naturally just leads to more muscle loss. We're already losing muscle as we get older, but as you lose muscle, it's then replaced with fat. So again, the scale could not be changing much, but your body is because the muscle is leaving and the fat is is taking kind of taking over. I hate to put it like that, but it kind of is. Um, the overdoing of cardio, I know that that's a very common thing. Again, another thing I tried. And what that actually is doing is it's going to backfire on you because it's going to cause spikes in your cortisol, which then lead to excess estrogen in your body. And that creates more hormone imbalances. So it's definitely not something that you want to be doing. And that's not, you can't burn off all that you're eating anyway. That's a huge thing of people think, oh, I'll just go burn it off later. Well, the amount of cardio that you have to do to burn up calories is so excessive that most of the time you're not even getting close to the amount that you're burning off. So that's not going to work. It's actually going to backfire on you. And then, of course, we've all fallen into the salad trap, right? I mean, salads are great for micronutrients and for different health benefits and getting those vegetables in and getting all those things in. But when you're eating excess salads, you're probably not getting enough protein unless you're topping those salads with a ton of meat or chicken or something or fish or something like that. But usually they just have a huge amount of fat in them. And so you end up over consuming calories. So you think that you're getting everything that you need, but you're really not. So we're realizing that when you get into midlife, it's going to start requiring a new strategy. Something has to change because our body is changing, our lifestyle has changed. So, all those wonderful changes that come with it, we obviously have to change too. Our hormones are shifting, the fat is distributing to different places, we're naturally losing muscle. Especially if you're not strength training. So we lose muscle as we age, but if you are not strength training, we are like losing muscle even faster. So we're going to talk about that again a little bit more. I'm going to really emphasize that. So you're losing lean muscle that's being replaced by fat. And if you've ever seen a picture before of fat and muscle, muscle is very, very lean and it sits very flat on our body, and muscle is very big and bulky. So it doesn't sit the same way. So again, going back to that, you could not be changing your weight very much. It maybe be like, guy, I've only gone up 5 pounds on the scale. Why do I look so different? Why do my clothes fit so differently? It's because of that distribution of fat versus muscle. And unfortunately, the change in hormones in our body starts to decide that it wants to place the fat in different places than we're used to. So our genetics determine where that fat sits. And so for most of our life, it's going to sit in one place. And then when the hormones start changing, it decides I'm going to store it somewhere else. And so it goes somewhere else and I started gaining weight in my stomach in my 40s, and I had never had issues with that at all. So it's just weird how that shift in your hormones will start to shift where the fat starts to go. So what you obviously need to do is make sure that you're lifting weights and you're strength training. And you need to make sure that you're lifting smart. And that would be with a progressive overload lifting system. So here's the thing, gaining muscle is not going to happen by just going into the gym and picking up weights and doing random workouts or jumping from machine to machine. I'm sorry to break it to you, but it doesn't happen that way. Gaining muscle is actually very hard to do. And so, in order to do it properly, you need to make sure that you're doing a really well programmed system of weights that you're doing. You should be doing the same moves over and over again and challenging yourself with weights. That's how you're going to see the muscle really start to grow, and that's called progressive overload. So you want to stick with the same system. You don't want to keep jumping from workout to random workout. You're going to master those moves, and as you challenge those moves and you lift heavier or you do more reps, that's when the muscles are really going to start to grow. And it's not just about that. You got to make sure that you're fueling your body correctly too in order to grow muscle. So you have to make sure that you're getting enough carbs, you're getting enough protein, and you're fueling yourself with enough calories. If you're under eating, your body is not going to be able to build muscle because it's going to be using all of those calories just to do the basic things to keep your body alive and functioning. So it's not going to have the extra energy that's needed to build the muscle that you need. So you cannot just constantly be in a calorie deficit and expect to grow muscle. All right, so moving on. Let's talk a little bit about how you can go and start resetting your metabolism that has started to slow down. Okay, so we know what the problem is. We know that life and your hormones and everything and lack of muscle and not eating correctly is going to start to lower that dimmer switch. So what we really want to know is how can we put that dimmer switch back up so that we're not stuck in the same cycle. Okay. Another analogy too, if it helps, the one I actually like a little bit better than the dimmer switch is if you think about it like a gas burner on your stove and turning it up so that the flame is like really going, or turning it lower. Think about that. So the things I'm about to tell you are things that are going to get your flame going higher so that your metabolism is just working better. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is we need to make sure that we're fueling our bodies better. So we've all heard eat more protein. It's all over the place. Eat more protein, eat more protein, eat more protein. Okay, but why? Let's talk about why the protein is important. So it's necessary to build muscle. So that's a huge thing, is that we need it to build the muscle that revs our metabolism. But it also, as a macronutrient, it has the highest thermic effect. So what this means is that our body burns more calories digesting it than any other macro. Okay, so rather than fat or carbs, when we eat more protein, our body has to work harder to digest that. And so it's just naturally going to rev up our metabolism because it has to work a little bit harder. So that's one of the many ways that you can get it going is by eating that protein. Um, Plus, when you're fueling your body well, when you're eating meals or not skipping meals, you're going to have more energy, which just means that you're more likely to move, you're more likely to take that extra walk. You're more likely to do things that you normally wouldn't do. And so, all those little things that you do, all that movement throughout the day, even right now, as I'm moving my hands around and I'm gesturing, all of that adds up to movement in my body that's burning energy. So, fueling your body correctly so that you have the energy to do that, it means that it's going to allow you to lift heavier in your lifts. It's going to allow you to walk a little bit longer because you're like, I feel good. I'm walking rather than I've walked 20 minutes. I'm so tired. I got to be done. Right? Because you skipped a couple meals that day and you're not fueled the way you should be. Okay, let's go back to the building the muscle. I talked about that a little bit, but let's go into it a little bit more because it is probably the number one thing, to be honest. Okay, so not only does muscle look better on your body, obviously it's going to make you look more lean. I've had a lot of clients that have worked with me where this scale has not budged much, but their body has taken on a completely different shape because they've lost fat and gained muscle and it just completely leans you out. I had one client that she hadn't lost much weight, but she kept showing me these pictures of how crazy different she looked. And she had lost like 5 pounds, but it looked like so much more because she had gained muscle and lost fat. And she was in the grocery store and somebody saw her that hadn't seen her in a while and was like, you look like you've lost 20 pounds. You look amazing. And in her head, she wasn't going to say, no, I haven't to that person. But in her head, she thought, oh my gosh, that's so cool because she had been a little bit frustrated by why doesn't the scale look like it? But her body looked like it. So that's called body recomposition because you're gaining that muscle and you're losing the fat. And so your weight doesn't change very much, but your metabolism is revved up. So you're able to eat more. And you look completely different. Um, but the other thing too is that muscle is the most metabolically active tissue in your body. So what this means is it requires a lot of energy just for your body to maintain muscle. Even while you're sitting there, even while you're sleeping, even while you're watching TV, it takes your body a lot to use that versus fat. It doesn't take your body very much to maintain at all. So it's kind of like I heard one other coach that I'm good friends with. She had done the analogy of like owning your home versus renting, right? Like when you're renting, you're just constantly paying for something that never pays off. And when you own a home, you're actually investing in something. So that's kind of like what muscle is doing. Like it's an investment in your body that then it just pays off while you're not even doing anything. You're just sitting around and it's burning. So it's going to get your metabolism revved up because your metabolism has to work to keep it around. So it's leading to an elevated metabolism, not just all the time, but there's a specific period after you do a strength training session where your body has to rev your metabolism as well. This is called EPOC, EPOC, and it stands for excessive post exercise oxygen consumption. Sorry, getting a little scientific there, but it's basically the extra energy your body is using to repair the muscles that you've basically torn. So when you're lifting weights and you're trying to push yourself outside of your comfort zone and you're really growing your muscles, they start to tear apart. And the repair process is what actually makes them grow. So, all of that, what's happening in your muscles during that time, is making your metabolism have to work harder to repair your muscle, to grow your muscle. So, all of that is just adding in it too. So, versus like cardio, where you go and you're working really hard, and yes, your metabolism is revved while you're there when you're done and your heart rate has come back down, which is pretty soon afterwards, that's it. Where muscle is like permanent. You're not lifting the rest of the day. You did your 40-minute lift section. You're not lifting the rest of the day. And what do you know? Your body is still burning because it's spending all those hours repairing that muscle. So obviously, the more muscle you have, the more calories you're going to be burning all day long, which means your metabolism is super revved up. It would probably be again, the number one thing that changed my body was learning this progressive overload system. And of course, with proper diet along with it is super important, but it's the growing that muscle that really allowed me to be able to eat more, to have a higher metabolism, and just to kind of, that's going to be your thing too. If you lose weight, the easier way to keep it off is because you've got your metabolism working. And then, of course, another thing that a lot of people don't talk about is the recovery, is making sure that you've got your sleep down, you're lowering your stress, all that stuff, which I know is hard with life and all the things that are going on, but it's actually really important because not having too much stress and not sleeping enough and not fueling your body correctly can lead to a lot of stress on your hormones. And it's just going to make it harder for you to stay consistent with the good eating habits and the workouts and everything. So you really want to make sure that you're giving your body the recovery that you need and being intentional about that. I think so much of us just think with health and fitness and losing weight and everything, more, 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 more. But we need to make sure that we're taking that time to let our body recover and restore from all that we're doing. So I've kind of talked about these already, but let me just kind of bust these again because I feel like it's in our psyche so much. It has been for most of my life is myth number one, eating less and less, right? I see so many women that I talk to and clients that I start with. They eat like birds Monday through Thursday. I mean, they're skipping meals, they're picking at stuff, they're hardly eating because they're in this diet mode, right? They think, oh, if I do this, I'll lose weight. Friday comes around and they get that special latte that they love because it's Friday morning, and then maybe drinks in the afternoon with friends because it's Friday afternoon. And then you eat out on Saturday and brunch on Sunday. So it just like boom, 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 right? You're just like stacking on all this stuff and you're ending up right back where you started. So the better way would be to be eating consistently all week long, every single day. That's actually going to lead to weight loss. I have a client that we didn't even start her fat loss session yet. We just got her. She was eating all over the place. Some days it was super low, some days it was super high. We got her eating consistently every single day, and she just started dropping weight, even before we started a fat loss phase. And that was because these crazy days where she was eating so much started to just go away because her body was really well fueled and she wasn't feeling like she needed to eat every single little thing by the time she got to those days because she wasn't starving. So, really making sure that you're eating consistently each day. Um, Myth number two, belly fat is just aging. There's nothing I can do about it. That is not true. It's not true. Okay. And I am proof of that because I felt like that for a long time. I just felt like, okay, this is it. It must be it. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it. It couldn't be further from the truth. Yes, your hormones are playing a role. Yes, things are changing. Yes, you have to work a little bit differently, but there's so many things that you can be doing and you don't have to be the victim to what's happening in your body. I know it feels like that, but you don't have to be. So I've had myself and a ton of clients included just by changing their macro breakdown and by switching around their macros that they're eating and balancing them out better, they have seen a complete shift in their body and been able to lose that fat off their belly, which is where most of it goes when we have those hormones going. So don't fall into that lie. And then myth number three, you can't build muscle after 40. Again, I don't know if you guys have seen, but for the last couple of years, there's been this lady that has gone viral on all sorts of platforms. And she was like in her 70s and kind of overweight, had never done any weightlifting. And she started weightlifting. And within like, I don't know, 3 years or something, it's crazy. She looks completely different. She's super strong. It's crazy, you guys. It's super crazy. So, it could not be further from the truth. It is there is no time frame that says, well, it's too late, you can't build muscle anymore. Any time in your life is a good time to start. Obviously, the sooner the better, because then all those benefits are just going to keep following you for the rest of your life. But there's never a wrong time to start when you're lifting. Whoop, that went back to slide 3. We went there. All right, so I just wanted to show some of the clients that I've been talking about. I have such amazing clients. And just a few of the women that really thought that they were stuck. Another story from a client was she had told me she comes from um, a family that kind of struggles with weight issues. And as she started getting older, she started feeling like, okay, I guess this is it. I guess this is what happened to them. So I guess this is it for me too. I guess I'm going to have to be overweight too because they were, and I guess this is just genetically where I'm headed. And she had already kind of gone into that mindset of kind of the victim mentality of I can't do anything about it. And it's been such a pleasure to be a part of her journey and to hear her be like, I'm so glad that that wasn't my story, that I actually reached out and did something about it. And she was scared at first and she didn't trust the process at first, but then she got on the bandwagon and she's completely changed her body from it. So it's just exciting to see that we don't have to play victim. We don't have to look at what our parents have done or what other family members have done and kind of given up on their bodies or their health or their fitness. You can totally change the narrative and you can totally change your story and go outside of that. So don't ever feel like you're trapped and there's nothing that you can do. So if you want to start turning up that metabolism flame, here's the things that I would tell you to start doing that you could actually start doing this week. If you want to put this into practice, there's some really simple things that you can start doing right away that would really, really help with getting you on track. Okay. So, the number one thing, start tracking your protein and your fiber. We think in our minds that we are getting enough protein, but we are not. Until you start tracking it and you realize that, oh my gosh, because I think we just mentally can go, oh, there was a little bit of protein in that. Oh, there was a little bit of protein in that. But I guarantee once you start tracking it, you're going to look and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I have so many clients that they're like, I'm totally getting over 100 grams of protein. And then we go, okay. And we start tracking it and it's like 50. It's half of what they think it is. So track it, just track it for a week. Everything that you're eating, track and see how much protein it is, and just give yourself a starting point. And track your fiber. Your fiber is super important as well. Really, really important to help you feel satiated, to help you feel full. And it is just not something that is in our everyday diet. And you kind of have to be a little bit more intentional about getting that fiber in. So just no more guessing with that for sure. And then start eating the same amount of calories every day. Stop living in that constant diet mode of like, one day you're eating 1,000 calories and then the next day you eat 1,000 calories. Try to start eating consistently every day. And this might feel kind of strange to you. There might be days where you're like, I've only had 1,000 calories and I'm not really that hungry. Try to up it a little bit. Try to have like an extra yogurt that day. Start training your body that this is what we do every day. We eat the same amount every day. Because right now, if you haven't been eating enough, it does feel a little bit strange. And you might have days where you're like, I'm not hungry, but then you're going to be starving in a couple days. So just start retraining your body for that. Number 2, start a strength training program. Please. If that's all you do, go do it. Start lifting weights. But make sure that you have a system that's going to guarantee muscle growth. Okay. Don't go into the gym and just start doing random things. Don't be winging it. I absolutely love building personalized programs for my clients. It's so fun for me. I build my own programs. I build a personalized program for each and every client based on their lifestyle and what they need if they want to work out at home. So if that's helpful and that would take the guesswork out for you, let me know. I would absolutely love to do it for you. It's a step-by-step plan. It comes with videos. It's really easy to follow. So, but make sure that you start lifting weights. Um, and then I want you, mindset wise, to ditch the all or nothing mindset. Okay. Start small. Start to commit to changing a couple things each week until they become a habit. This is one of the huge things I work with my clients on is habit stacking. So you start with a couple things, you do those until they're doable, and you just keep adding on each week until you just feel like it's a part of your life. The women that I see that are the most unsuccessful are the ones that go, okay, like I'm going to do it. I'm going to get healthier and stronger. I'm going to completely overhaul my life. And they do that. And it lasts for what, like 4 or 5 days until they realize, well, this isn't like I have a job and I have kids and I have life and there's sickness and there's all this stuff. I can't do this. It's just not realistic. So start with a couple things, the couple things I just mentioned. Start doing those and do them even just if it's 2 or 3 times a week, right? Start working them in. So you go, okay, 2 times this week, I'm going to make sure that I'm really good at eating my protein and I'm tracking my protein and I'm doing a strength training program. And you set those 2 days, it's Tuesday, Thursday, and you just do those. And that might take a few weeks until you get to the point where that's easy. And then when that feels easy and it's just a part of your life, then add something else until it just feels like it's part of your life. It eventually should feel like brushing your teeth. Like you just do it, right? You don't think, oh, I couldn't get to that today or I need to schedule that in. It's just, you just do it. So that's kind of what we want these habits to start doing so that they just become a lifestyle and you don't feel like they take all this extra energy and extra thought and planning. So, as an invitation to you, I want you, if you're here watching this live or you're watching the replay, I want you to pick 3 things that you're going to work on this week. Okay, so write them down. If that helps you to stick with them, write them down. You could DM me with your 3 things. If you have my number, you can text me with your 3 things. Anything that will help you stick with them and keep you accountable. I would love to invite you to pick those 3 things that you're going to do and share them with me. And then, like I said, stick with them until they start feeling automatic. And that can take, for some people, that could take a week. For some people, that might take a month, but you're getting somewhere, right? It doesn't matter how much time it takes. That's not what we're talking about here because it's not about time. The year and the months are going to go by anyways. So either you take the time to do this and it takes time in a year, you're a totally different person, or you say, forget it, it's taking too long, I'm not going to do it. And then you're still the exact same person stuck in the exact same spot a year from now. So just choose. Choose that it's a journey, that it's going to take a while, that you're revamping your lifestyle and your metabolism in your life, and just commit to changing little things at a time. Um, just taking those proper steps, rebuilding your metabolism, what it's going to do is you're going to have lifelong success, right? So instead of doing some crash diet where you want some crazy results in 2 months, you're going to change your body from the inside out and you're going to be able to lose that weight, be stronger, but it's going to stay that way. You're going to be able to have this revved up metabolism and just feel better about all of it. So I really hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, you can write them in the chat for the couple of you that are here. If you have any questions and you're watching this on a replay, please feel free to reach out for me. Whether it's through Instagram, DMing me, or emailing me. You guys all have emails from me. But it just helps to have a clear, simple plan. And I absolutely love the coaching aspect of it because of the accountability of it. So many women say, I know what to do. I just need someone there that's like watching me. I have one client that she loves to joke with her kids too. She's like, I feel like you're always watching me. And for some people, that may drive them nuts, but for a lot of people, that's very helpful because it makes them know I have someone behind me. I have someone that has my back. They're keeping me accountable. They're checking in on me, and I want to do well because I know that she's watching me. So if that's the piece that you feel like you're missing, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about that. So thank you so much. I hope you guys, this was helpful. I hope you're walking away with some education and some good things that you can do, um, and some next steps that you can take just on your own to set you further. And yeah, so I'm going to open it up to, I see a little question to Liz. Is protein powder a good protein to use? Yes, it absolutely is. I would suggest it not being your number one source of protein. So you definitely want to get a good different options of protein, like your meats and your dairy and all that kind of stuff. But I have also found that it's very helpful for most women, in order to reach that protein number, they have to at least supplement with at least one protein drink a day. So it shouldn't be something that you're like protein drink for breakfast, protein drink for lunch. But if it's something that's going to help supplement on top of the other things that you're doing, then absolutely, I think it's good. Just make sure that it's a good, clean protein powder. And Liz, I actually have some places if you need a good protein powder, I can send you some ideas or even send you some samples of some ones if you feel like you want to taste a couple of them because some protein powders are not very good. And I also suggest trying for most people a lot of protein powder that most people do is whey protein. Some people can't have dairy, so they do a plant protein. I don't have a problem with dairy, and so I use whey, but I've also tried a lot of plant protein as well. And I find that my body likes it better when I switch back and forth, and I'm not just doing whey all the time. I feel like the whey can get a little bit too much. So I would also recommend that if you're doing a protein powder, then get one of each, a good tasting plant, a good tasting whey, and just alternate between the two, just so it's not, you're getting a little bit different micronutrient base and it's not just overloading your system with that dairy. So hope that was helpful, Liz. Okay, I guess I will wrap this up. For those of you that were here live, thank you so, so much for being here. And if you're on the replay, again, I hope this was helpful. And please, please use me for any questions you have at any time. I'm here and I love to chat with people. And I love you guys all. Thanks so much for supporting me in my coaching journey. And I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you later.